Hello everyone, this is the video on the Exodus from Egypt, and this is part of the Bible Stories series. As you can see, I'm wearing the new microphone that I have, and I just want to show you guys a little bit of what this is capable of, just real briefly here at the beginning of this video. So you guys can probably hear the drone off in the distance. With a click of a button, that drone noise is now gone. These are the things that I'm blessed with through you guys. Thank you so much. So let's get right into our study. Let's go to Exodus chapter 1 and verse 8 through 11. And it says, "Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal with them wisely." And basically he goes on and says, we need to put them in slavery, because if we don't, they may rise up against us, having more numbers than us, and wipe out our nation. So hey, let's get rich off of these people. So then Moses is called, and we went through this in the last video with the plagues and whatnot. So Moses is called to duty. And in Exodus chapter 3 and verse 10, it says, "Come now, therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt." So then there are the plagues. There are the 10 plagues, which we saw in this previous video. You can get to up here in the top corner. And what that video covered was basically the birth, life of Moses, and the plagues. This one is doing a slight recap on that, and then it's going to continue on to the Exodus from Egypt. So there was the Passover. In Exodus chapter 12 and verse 23, it says, "For the Lord will pass through to smite the Egyptians, and when he seeth the blood upon the lintel and on the two sides of the posts," what that was is it's basically talking about the door frame or door jamb. The two sides of the post was left and right of the door, and the lintel was above the door. So when there's blood, when they had put blood on there, the angel would pass by and not kill the firstborn of that household, which of course the Israelites knew that, the Egyptians did not. So then we have the Exodus from Egypt. I'm going through these real quickly. The Exodus from Egypt in Exodus chapter 14, verse 21 and 22. And it says, "And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon the dry ground, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left." So as we can see here, they have exited from Egypt. They have finally gotten free from that bondage, but then they get to the Red Sea, and all the people are like, now what do we do? We're stuck between two mountains in a valley. We're trapped in on our left and our right. We have a sea in front of us, and we have Pharaoh's army behind us. And this is when God shows that he will protect his own people. Then we have the journey through the wilderness in Exodus 16, 2 and 3, and it says, "And the whole congregation of the children of Israel mourned against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness, And the children of Israel said unto them, Would to God we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots, and when we did eat bread to the full. For ye have brought us forth into this wilderness to kill the whole assembly with hunger. So these people, instead of blessing and praising God, are mumbling and complaining what God is doing for them, and blaming Moses and Aaron for doing it, being that they were God's servants. So then we have Mount Sinai. So they encamp at the foot of a mountain, and the Lord talks to Moses and says, prepare the people, and he is going to share the commandments with them from the mount. Can you imagine God coming down out of heaven on a mountain right next to where you live and physically speaking to you? Just try and imagine that. So he comes down, he speaks the 10 Commandments from the mountain. The mountain smokes, and actually to this day, if you look it up on Google Maps, Google Earth, you can see that area is just naturally dark, very, very dark, which I think is very amazing for being that many years ago. So, he speaks the commandments. Moses then goes up there. He gets written commandments. In the meantime, going through this quickly, the golden calf is made by Aaron, which is Moses' brother. Great help he was. So Moses comes down, sees them all bowing before this image and partying, and he breaks the commandments because they're breaking the commandments, having other gods before God. He breaks the commandments, then he has to go back up to the mount, to God, for another 40 days and get a new set of 10 Commandments in stone. And I think it's very interesting about all of that. Can you imagine, you've been up in the mountain with God 40 days, no food, no water. I'm guessing God supplied for him. But you come back down to find all the people that had just said a couple weeks ago that they would obey the Lord and follow him. They are now saying otherwise and doing otherwise. Then, through all of this, the complaining, the disobedience to God's law, they end up wandering in the wilderness. 40 years of wandering in the wilderness. I have a question for you. How many people that left Egypt, that were like physically in Egypt, crossed into Canaan? Sure, the entire group went to Canaan. But how many of the people who had actually lived in Egypt crossed? 2 people. Out of that great throng, that great multitude of people, only 2 people crossed that had lived in Egypt. All the rest were the offspring of them. So, we need to keep in mind, we need not mumble, we dare not mumble and complain, or break God's commandments, because what does that do for us? It causes more delay of Christ coming, or of us crossing over into the heavenly Canaan land. I hope this video has been a help to you. Please like, share, and subscribe, and walk with God.